Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. Thanks for subscribing, or please subscribe if you haven't already. Today we're working again on the 2000 Subaru Impreza 2.5 RS. As you can tell, the lights on the instrument cluster, or the dash gauges, or the combination meter is what Subaru calls it, they're not all working correctly. In fact, the fuel gauge and the engine coolant temperature gauges, you can't see them at all. The left side of the speedometer, you can't see that very well. Everything else seems fine, but it's definitely time to replace some light bulbs. It's really straightforward to do on the Subaru. And the first thing we're going to do is just remove the bezel over the instrument panel, instrument cluster. And that's just two Phillips head screws that you need to remove. Put the steering wheel all the way down, and then kind of gently pull out and tilt down that bezel so you can get it up and over the steering wheel. Once you get the bezel out, it's just three screws, one at the top, one on the left, one on the right. Again, Phillips head screws. Just back those out, remove the screws, and then you can pull the instrument panel forward, the cluster forward. Don't pull it all the way out because there's three wire harnesses that you have to disconnect before you can actually pull it all the way out. So it absolutely is a struggle to get the electrical connectors disconnected from the back of this thing for the very first time. I'll show you once I get this out what the trick is to that. And then getting this out from the instrument panel is also tricky. You'll wrestle with it a bit to be able to get it out past the cover, the plastic cover over the steering wheel. But it's a trick of getting the tilting the bottom towards you, but then also rotating it up at an angle so that there's like only one good way it'll fit out. And then once you get it exactly right at that angle, then it'll slide on out. So like I said, there's three electrical connectors on the top instrument panel that you need to disconnect blindly before you're able to pull the dash cluster out. And the way these work, you just have to do it by feel, but facing you at the top is this little tab, and really you need to kind of push in, but also up a little bit, and then it will free up the bottom. So what I ended up doing is had one hand on the wires themselves, and I put the other hand also behind the instrument panel, and I pushed in on this button. So it was two-handed, one hand pushing this tab in, the other hand pulling out. And this one, the middle one, came out pretty easily. The one on the right, I think this is probably the first time these have ever been disconnected, and so the one on the right and the one on the left were stiff. So it took a little bit of pull to get it out, but that's the trick for getting those out. So like I showed you earlier, I've got some bulbs. The bulbs over here are both fine. The bulb here seems to be fine. It seems like it's dark on this side, and then both of these are dark. So let's go ahead and flip this over, and I'm just going to tilt it so it'll be on the same side. So this one seemed fine. This one seemed fine, right? So the two on the right hand side, looking at the video, which is the tach and the right side of the speedometer, those were fine. And then this one is the left hand side of the speedometer, and that one was dark, so that one should be replaced. And then the two gauges here on the left are actually this one right here. And of course, these three bulbs are one particular size 74, and then this one is a different size. It's size 194. And the way you get these out, you just turn it a quarter turn, and then these are what the bulbs look like. So you just pull the bulb out and replace it, and then you put this back in, and then twist it until it's tight. Same with these. Pull the bulb out, replace it, put it back in. Now, I could do that with regular incandescent bulbs, but I'm actually going to use LEDs. I have two different LEDs that I'm going to put in here. Like I said, different size bulb on this side, and then these three will be the same LEDs. And it's convenient, they're the same size bulbs that go in the TJ, so I have some leftovers from that project. I'm not going to mess with any of the other bulbs. They are all working fine. And these bulbs that I'm going to install, I don't even remember what color they are, but I think they're white, but we'll find out. But I'm going to go ahead and replace these bulbs. So I don't remember if these LEDs are pole specific or not, so I'm going to put these in, but they may not work when we get them up and running, and we may have to switch them around 180 degrees, but we're going to give it a shot. So that I remember which three it was that I replaced, I'm going to go ahead and use my marking nail polish to just put a dot on them. All right, so now we'll go ahead and put it back in the car, connect the electrical connectors, and before putting everything back together, just see if the lights work or if I need to change any of the polarity. All right, the moment of truth. Well, so first the door open light is on because the doors are open, so at least know that the electrical connectors are connected and working. So we'll turn the ignition on. Oops. No headlights on. All right, so we turn the ignition on, turn the headlights on. We have no instrument cluster illumination at all. I guess maybe it's a little faintly illuminated, but that's clearly not what we want. So I'm going to take this apart, flip the LEDs around, and see if that makes a difference. And we have success. So the bulbs that were not the larger bulb, the smaller three bulbs, they were all backwards polarity. So I took the cluster out, turned them 180 degrees, put them back in, and that got me good lights over here. The LED I was trying to use for these two gauges actually was a bad LED. I had to replace it, and that took a little bit more troubleshooting. But the one nice thing is that you don't, for this bulb back here, you don't have to pull the whole thing out over and over again. You can actually tip it down and reach up underneath and reach this bulb. And I was able to do that. I didn't have to keep pulling this thing in and out 4 or 5 times. I could reach up, remove the bulb, change the orientation of the bulb, or replace the bulb and put it back up in there, all without having to mess with those electrical connectors. So everything's working. Everything looks great. I can see all the gauges again. I need to go put that bezel back in, but that's just a couple of screws. You guys know how to do that. Put a couple of the 3 screws in that hold this in place. You're good to go. Hopefully this video has been helpful. I really am happy to have full lighting back in the instrument cluster. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them below. Links in the video description for the LEDs that I'm using. And yeah, thanks for watching. Until the next video, y'all take care and have a good one.